Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Just My Thoughts. It's been a while since I recorded one of these, and I don't know. I've been thinking about it lately. I wanted to get back in it. It's been 3 months since my last video. I sound like I'm doing confessions. It's been three months, Father, since my last confession. I guess in a way it's kind of similar. Anyway, um, yeah. So I wanted to do a video. It's been a while, and I guess I don't know. I think I just missed doing it. Honestly, sorry, just adjusting my mic here. All right, there we go. So, what are we going to talk about this time? Well, figured out some things since last time. Figured out how I was conceptualizing type, like my understanding of it. I think I was looking at it incorrectly. I have a new way of looking at it. Before, I was looking at it as if, like, okay, you're your saviors, and you do your demons kind of on occasion type of thing. You can make effort to do them if you wanted to, but for the most part, if you don't do that, then they kind of jump out here and there. But after recently, just I don't know, just giving more thought, I've changed the way I look at that. What I believe is you are the sum of your type. Like just a particular type, not you as a person, because obviously there's environment and how you were raised, where you were raised, stuff like that. But I mean, just speaking strictly um, strictly about type itself. Yeah, you are the sum. You are the whole. You're the sum of those parts. It's not necessarily shifting in between, although you are somewhat, and you can purposely do that. But it's not as segregated, I guess, as I was conceptualizing it. And yeah, that's been sort of a recent understanding that I've been seeing, and has really kind of changed everything about how I was looking at it. Like, for instance, the sexuals. Like, when I was thinking of like double masculine, I was picturing like this sort of like guy always ready to kind of hawk out and wild out, you know, and that that is in there, but it's not necessarily the case that the guy's gonna wild out. And even with the double feminine, the guy isn't necessarily going to not do anything if you push on him. Although it kind of leans that way, I suppose, depending on what you're pushing on. So I just say that because I was looking at the masculines, right? And I was thinking about how Benjamin often will talk about his TI, and kind of like how he's very particular about putting things into his framework. um, what's accepted and what's not. Um, and that's something I've tried to adapt myself, even though I don't have TI. And I've noticed that when Benjamin says it, at least to my understanding, it seems like what he's saying is that's a TI thing, and I don't think that's necessarily accurate. Um, Although in some cases I suppose it can be. What I would think it is that's a masculine DI thing. So being very selective about what information you allow to come into your framework, I think is a masculine DI thing. And I can kind of see it like when I'm doing consume, I can see me sort of judging the information as it comes in, and it's coming in, and I'm kind of like listening or reading or whatever. Well, yes, that is correct. That is correct. No, that is not correct. Put that to the side. That is correct. Bring that in. And I can see me sort of allowing what goes into my framework. And I believe that's a masculine DI thing. I do not think that feminine DIs are doing that, or at least that, from what I see, I don't think that's the case. Now there might be exceptions to that rule. Maybe you get exposed to it. Um, like I myself was kind of exposed to it, and decide to purposely try to do that. But I can remember when I was younger, that was not the case. I did separate information, like, all right, I won't accept that, I won't accept that. However, I also recall there were certain individuals who I was like, oh, okay, these individuals are clearly smarter. So if they say it, I would gladly accept it into the framework. And that is no longer the case now. That I've purposely been, guarded against what I allow and don't allow into my framework. But when I was younger, that was definitely the case. Um, so I said that to say that I think that's a masculine DI thing. And also just having the masculines functions, it means that I think that's where you're going to pull from. So in my case, because both of my introverted functions are masculine, I'm going to pull for myself. I'm going to rely on my own values when it comes to things. I'm going to be less willing and less open to other people telling me things that go against my values and stuff like that. I see that. I've been observing that. And if you have masculine extroverted functions, you're more affected by outer sources, more influence. So just like I'm going to pull from within me because I have the masculine inner functions, people who have the masculine extroverted functions are pulling from the outside. They also push more on the outside, where because I have the masculine inner functions, I push more on myself. When Dave and Shan describe it into the system, how they describe it, they say you would be moved more. Your extroverted function would be moved more by outside sources. That's how they say it, is not how I interpret it. I thought they just meant like I thought when you were masculine, I mean, like you had masculine extroverted functions. What that meant is you might be more like if it's a tribal function, you might be more damn it, I'm freezing on the word. You're more movable. That's how they describe it. You're more movable with the tribe. So if the tribe wants to do something, you're more likely to go along with it because the tribe wants to do it. Which I think that's probably in there. But from what I'm seeing is you're simply more affected by the tribe in general. So if someone says something against you, someone outside of you says something that's counter value to what you want to do or whatever, it's almost seen as kind of like a threat. And you really see that as kind of pushing on you. And that's interesting to me. Because it's not how I do it at all. Like if somebody says something to me that goes against what I want to do or just counter opinion or whatever, it's of no bearing. Like I'll consider your information, but I really don't take offense to it at all. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me how, oh man, you've always stuff never bothered you, it just roll off of you. And I was realizing like I didn't tell him this because he's not really into personality stuff, but I was like, oh yeah, I know why that's happening now. You know, I know why that's happening. Before, if you had asked me a few years back, I would have had no clue. But I see like having the masculine introverted functions, the outside world just it does not feel like it's pushing on me at all. Like I almost don't notice it. So like if somebody was trying to insult me or something, like unless they were super obvious, I probably wouldn't even notice it. Even if they were super obvious, I wouldn't really take offense to it a lot of times. This leaves me kind of in a weird place because it's all I know, obviously, because that's my mind, but it's not really how most people work, how they do things. So it's I don't know. It gets weird. It gets looked at differently by different people. I say it like that. Sometimes negative, sometimes positive. You know, I don't really know how till it happens. You know. But yeah, I was just looking like it's so interesting how where your masculine functions land and where your feminine functions land, the effect it has on you. And just like really looking at what that effect is very interesting as well. So again, that's just sort of a difference in how I'm conceptualizing them. Because my understanding has grown a bit now. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. I think what else did I want to talk about? Oh, I figured out a problem I've been having. Well, I'm not sure how long I've been having this problem. I know I've definitely been having it for a year. All right. And I know I've been having it for a year because I've been typed by Objective Personality almost a year. I think next month. It's either next month or the month after it'll be a year. So I know it's close. But I had started down a personality path before then. And I was already trying to move what I now know are my saviors before then. So this, I don't know. It could have always been there, and I just never noticed. Well, I know it's always been there in some capacity. I just don't know how big of a issue it was. But now I definitely see it, and it's from not vibing. Um, Basically, when you're ST, you're demon NF. So if you save your ST, you're demon NF. So being Savior ST, they call them like blockheads. Like you want you're trying to make everything super accurate. Um, and they call them vibe killers because basically people are vibing, they're flowing. Oh, I like this, you like that. You know, everybody's having a good time, and somebody says something, and then here I come, like, well, yeah, I don't know if that's accurate, or, well, have you considered this? I don't think you're right on that, or somebody says something, and I point out the flaws. And, oh, God, it's getting me in so much trouble. Yeah, so not vibing, which I didn't really realize that I wasn't doing that, but I used to do it a lot more. And the reason I noticed was because I'm blast last, so I don't really want to talk, you know. And it's only when I've been working on my saviors, I've been trying to talk more because I've been really trying to make those stronger. Um, and those saviors are ST, and um, they're the play modality. So um, their tribe function. Like you gotta interact with the tribe, you know, to really exercise them. And I've been making them stronger. I think it's been causing me to vibe less. Sort of like my masculines were always heavier because the ST is feminine. But since I started building the ST up, I think it's just been slightly tilting it a little bit. So the more and more ST, the more, if I'm not careful, I'm really not vibing. I'm really not. I have to make a more conscious effort to do so. Actually, so so realizing this, all my problems I've been having this entire year has pretty much been coming from this, and I just realized it. Like I didn't see it. It should have been obvious to me. It was right there in the type, and I was like, oh, I'm not. You know, I'm fine. I'm vibing. I'm not vibing. So this has caused me to butt heads with a lot of people. It sucks because it's not anything I'm looking to do. I'm not trying to do it. I usually don't even realize it until the person is upset with me. So it sucks. It's led to issues with wife, friends, coworkers. It's yeah. It's something I gotta fix. But at least now I know it's a problem. I wasn't aware before, but now I know it's a problem. So I can make more of a concerted effort to fix it. But Here's the thing about being blast last, right? Everything in my mind says, don't talk. Don't talk. Like there's no need to talk. Like unless that person asks you a question and you have to answer, there's no need to talk. That's how my mind works. Okay? And I've been making more of an effort to try to talk. I'm trying to remember in the past. I know I had to talk. I mean, I doubt I've been walking around not talking ever, but a lot of times I know I wasn't really talking. And even if I talking, I wasn't over talking. I was just talking as it was needed. Um, so the thing is, when I was trying to get my saviors better, I was becoming more talkative. That's when I started having all these problems. And now the solution I come up with is, yeah, you should try to vibe more. But also, you should stop talking. And I don't know. I don't know. You you want to be like, this is your family, right? As far as I'm concerned, friends are the family you get to choose. So this is your family. You know, it's funny. Dave says Dave says that thinkers don't really process their emotions in the moment. They do so later, usually unexpected. Um, and it appears that is what's going on. So I am going to skip this subject. Talk about something else. Yeah. Um, well, coming up on my 1 year anniversary of Objective Personality, so I am looking forward to doing a video on that. I gotta look and find exactly when is my anniversary date, but just talk about like how things have changed since I got my type, and that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Trying to think of what else. Also, that whole like being a skib and a leaf in the wind, that shit is so real. It's partly why I haven't been able to make videos, just like been caught up in fulfilling other people's wants and needs, and haven't really been making time for my own. So there's that. Trying to think of what else. Also, I have found a guy who is my type twin, so that's interesting. And then there's also a guy who is almost my exact type twin. He is the same exact animals and type, with the exception that he's double masculine, where I'm double feminine. So I've reached out to both these individuals, and hopefully I'll hear something back. I would love to do a video chat with them, just to talk about our differences and our similarities. So that'd be cool. The one guy, Habib, he's the double masculine version. I watched two of his interviews, and then I watched some of his videos on his channel. Seems like a pretty cool guy. I can see some similarities, but I also see a lot of differences. But he seems cool. I'd love to talk to him. And then my type twin, I haven't watched as much of him. I've seen a few of his videos though, and I've only seen one interview by him. I don't think he's been on Benjamin's channel yet, but hopefully soon, because Benjamin does great interviews. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him. Hopefully each of them respond back. But I've been watching his stuff, and I see a lot of similarities there. A lot of similarities. So that's very interesting. I'm super fascinated. Like, I'm told my type is pretty rare. So I don't come across many of them. This is only the second exact type twin. The other guy seemed like a cool guy, but he was really young. He was like 16 or 17. He was still in high school, and it's just like we're not really going to be able to relate. Our age differences and stuff. But hopefully, I'll hear back from these two guys. That's fingers crossed. That'd be great to do a video chat, talk with them. Maybe I'll be featured on the channel or something. I don't know. And then Boston Airport, I sent out the invitations, and hopefully they'll respond. There's really no way for me to know. So yeah. Is that it? That might be it. It's a short video, only 30 minutes. Wow, that's really short for me. Usually my videos end up being about an hour or more. I think, at least, going off memory. So 30 minutes is pretty short. I'll take it. Alright, everyone. Hopefully we'll get another video real soon. all two of you guys for watching or whatever. I don't know who really. I don't think anybody really watches this, honestly, but it's therapeutic for me. It's another way to catalog my thoughts if ever I want to look back on this. So, also, if it's helpful for anybody who happens to see it, or it's just interesting. All right, thank you guys for your time. Have a good evening.